The iPad Pro line has long stood at the crossroads of creativity, productivity, and cutting-edge design. But if recent reports are to be believed, the next evolution, the iPad Pro M5, is more than just a spec bump. It represents Apple's intention to push the limits of what a professional tablet can be. From increased screen sizes and thinner bezels to an all-new M5 chip that promises a generational leap, Technology Review is here to break down what's really going on behind the scenes. Let's explore what makes the 2025 iPad Pro M5 one of the most exciting updates in the iPad's history. The M4 Foundation, a springboard to the future. To understand what's coming, we need to revisit where we are. In 2024, Apple released its most refined iPad Pro yet. At just 5.1 millimeters for the 13-inch and 5.3 millimeters for the 11-inch model. These iPads became the thinnest Apple products ever made. And yet, they didn't compromise on power. These models introduced us to the M4 chip, the first Apple device to do so, and it stunned users with raw performance. Combine that with the new tandem OLED display, offering vibrant color, deep blacks, and remarkable brightness, and the M4 iPad Pro became a favorite for professionals and creatives alike. And now, Apple is ready to build on that foundation in a big way. The M5 chip, performance that redefines mobile power. At the heart of the upcoming iPad Pro is Apple's next-generation M5 chip. This isn't just a faster processor. It's a full-scale reimagining of what a mobile chip can do. According to early leaks, the M5 will boast a 10-core CPU and a likely bump in GPU cores from 10 to 12, representing the first time GPU core counts have increased since the M2 generation. Apple is not just adding raw power, it's laying the groundwork for a seamless AI-driven experience, efficient multitasking, and high-performance rendering that rivals desktop-class machines. The M5 will likely be built on a second-gen 3 nanometers process, improving efficiency and thermal performance. The implications for battery life, heat management, and overall device speed are massive, especially for creative professionals running apps like Final Cut Pro, Logic Pro, and Adobe Tools. Unified memory architecture upgrades. One of the biggest changes anticipated is the increase in standard RAM. The M4 iPad Pro base models started with 8 gigabytes, while higher storage options came with 16 gigabytes. With the M5 iPad Pro, Apple may shift the baseline up to 16 gigabytes of RAM across all storage tiers. That's a big deal. It opens up possibilities for deeper multitasking, smoother pro-level workflows, and full power for features arriving in iPadOS 26 and beyond. The high-end configurations, like 1 terabyte and 2 terabytes models, may even pack 24 gigabytes of RAM, creating parity with MacBook Pro performance. Slightly larger displays, slimmer bezels. Another exciting shift comes in the form of screen sizes. Apple isn't redesigning the iPad Pro completely, but it is refining the experience by shrinking bezels and slightly enlarging the display. Instead of the current 11-inch and 13-inch options, Apple could bump those up to approximately 11.5 inches and 13.5 inches. This would enhance media consumption, make multitasking more comfortable, and allow more screen real estate without increasing the physical size of the device. This move mirrors Apple's design philosophy with the Apple Watch Series 10 and MacBook Pro over the years. Same chassis, bigger visuals, more productivity. The tandem OLED display introduced last year will still be in place, but it may receive a minor brightness boost or calibration tweaks to support Apple Vision technology or ambient lighting shifts. iPadOS 26, unlocking the potential. What good is advanced hardware without software to match? Enter iPadOS 26, which plays a critical role in maximizing what the M5 can offer. The beta builds already point toward major enhancements, including advanced windowed multitasking, file management tools, preview apps, and a more robust Pro app framework. iPadOS 26 finally starts treating the iPad Pro like a workstation rather than a blown-up iPhone. With these updates, the iPad Pro becomes a legitimate computer replacement. No more compromises when switching from Mac to iPad. You can multitask efficiently, manage large files, edit high-res videos, and even hook up to external displays for full-screen workflows. This symbiosis between the M5 chip and iPadOS 26 is the real magic of the next-gen Pro. The release timeline. Multiple reports suggest that Apple is targeting late 2025 for the launch of the new iPad Pro M5. That means a fall release, most likely between October and early November, mirroring previous iPad Pro and MacBook announcements. Why then? Because it marks 18 months since the M4 iPad Pro debuted, aligning perfectly with Apple's product cadence and supply chain planning. Plus, by then, the M5 chip would likely have debuted in new MacBook Pros, allowing Apple to bring the chip across the product line and maintain consistency. A late 2025 release gives Apple time to polish iPadOS 26 and ensure the M5 chip meets the thermal demands of an ultra-thin tablet body. Pricing, holding steady or climbing. The question on everyone's mind, will Apple raise prices? The answer appears to be no, at least not significantly. If the design remains consistent and the upgrades are focused on chip performance, display enhancements, and minor screen size adjustments, Apple has no reason to hike prices dramatically. Current models start at $999 for the 11-inch and $1,299 for the 13-inch, and that structure will likely remain. However, trade tariffs, component shortages, or expanded memory configurations could push higher-tier models past their current limits. Expect deals a few months after release, especially through major retailers like Best Buy and Amazon. What's staying the same? There are no indications of a radical design change. The form factor will remain ultra-thin and premium, continuing Apple's minimalism-first approach. The Face ID system, 4-speaker audio, and magnetic Apple Pencil Pro support are expected to stay as is. The same goes for the Magic Keyboard and USB-C Thunderbolt for connectivity. Apple already optimized these in 2024, and they remain class-leading features. That said, future firmware updates may bring new gestures, audio tools, or pencil integration enhancements post-launch. More storage? Maybe. While there were some rumors about Apple increasing base storage beyond 256 gigabytes, this seems unlikely in the short term. Apple already shifted many base iPads to 256 gigabytes, and unless Pro apps demand even more local space, the base tier is expected to stay put. However, Apple could offer new SSD technologies or faster NAND memory for performance gains in video workflows and app load times. Why the iPad Pro M5 matters. Apple isn't just throwing more power into its tablet and calling it a day. The iPad Pro M5 represents a broader shift, a continued effort to blur the line between tablet and laptop, between touch and desktop, between consumption and creation. It's about power with portability, desktop performance with mobile flexibility, and user control without compromise. With the rise of Apple Intelligence, on-device AI models, and increasingly complex creative demands, users want a machine that can keep up without being tethered to a desk. The iPad Pro M5 is being built to be that machine. And in 2025, that might just be the most exciting thing about Apple's entire product line.